It is for sure game time, Danny. It is game time finally. Finally, from now all the way up until February, because we're about to get some real football. We already did free agency, the draft, and all this, trying to come up with all these episodes. But now, one of the episodes are going to flow easier because of the news and everything going on. And we'll have more things to talk about, during the lives of like each week and what's going on with the NFL. And man, I'm super stoked. How about you?
Heck yeah, me too, man. It's football season is upon us, so it doesn't get any better than that.
Oh man, 24 hours away. Like this is the earliest I remember a Hall of Fame game being. Like,
Yep.
August 1st. Yeah, it's usually like a few four, maybe 4 days to 7 days, in, and then they get trucking. But yeah, August 1st, I am so and it's already August. Like that's what's mind blowing too. Like this summer, I think was like the quickest summer for me, like in my lifetime. Like I don't remember half of it, to be honest.
I agree. I think in my case, like it even felt faster because of the move and all of that, right? It just
Yeah,
felt like a
like it's
blur.
just this air. Oh man, I don't know. It's wild. And then I'm almost starting high school football again with KROD 600 ESPN. Like I'm
Nice.
super stoked with that. Yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit. We got to keep trucking. So today's episode, obviously, Pete, if you're living under a rock, you should already know what we're going to be talking about mostly. It is the Hall of Fame game tomorrow, August 1st. The Houston, Texas versus who? Danny Ramirez?
The Bears.
The Bears. Oh my goodness, that is crazy, right? Woo! The Bears. Look at that. We got Jason Biggs, or live in studio over here with his hair
Jason.
looking.
No pies here, man. No pies here.
Just Hester's. All right, so man, it's awesome to be talking football. With you, and people hopefully will chime in. But this is so cool. The Hall of Fame game with your Chicago Bears, and then our local state where we grew up in Texas, so Houston Texans. And what's cool is that this is the inauguration of the Houston Texans in the Hall of Fame game, so that's super exciting for them, and just like Texas in general. uh it's awesome.
Yeah, no, I have to agree with you. There's a lot of, and you brought this up at the end of the last podcast, right? About Andre Johnson being the first Texan inducted. That's pretty cool in itself. So we get to witness that as an NFL fan. We get to witness the first player of a particular team being inducted. And then also, if you look on the other side, right, you have the Bears who, Devin Hester, the first return man, special teamer, getting into the Hall of Famer. I mean, get into the Hall of Fame. Sorry, it's just not. It's unknown, right? It's all unknown for us. And
Honestly, yeah, go ahead, go
go
ahead.
no go ahead, finish your thought.
Well, just honestly, like this is probably my most like exciting and like endearing, probably since the Cowboys last was in the Hall of Fame game, just because like the differentiality of what this Hall of Fame game means. The first team getting in ever, and then the first return man ever. So like that sounds super dope.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's cool, and then it's also bittersweet because you have two Bears that are going into the Hall of Fame, right? We've mentioned Devin Hester, and then the other one, Steve McMichael, who has ALS. So, unfortunately for him, he's not able to go through the whole process and really enjoy the moment. And he should
Right.
have been inducted a long time ago. I mean, he stopped playing football a while back, and in his numbers are on par to reach the Hall of Fame. So it just sucks that he had to wait this long, and now he's not able to enjoy it the same way that he would if he was normal.
Yeah, and
Um,
it goes back to like even from our days growing up or something. They're like, man, there's always like that favoritism, right? So it's just like, did he nick? Did he irk someone the wrong way at least once, right? So then
Possibly.
voters, yeah, exactly. So there's so many players that probably have to wait longer than they should, just because like whoever's voting for him, like, no, I like this other person more, and then it is what it is, and it happens all the time with jobs, school, everything.
Yeah, that's just the way I guess the nature of the business, right? But it just sucks. But it's gonna be fun. I mean, football is here. We're not gonna be able to see the starters for either team, but that's okay because we're gonna be able to get a look into those positions that those people in the roster bubble.
Right.
You never know what the season's gonna play out like, right? So maybe there's a a diamond in the rough that you could take advantage of probably picking up later in the season when injuries happen. So it's always a good thing. It's gonna be a lot of fun either way because football's back. I'd watch. I mean, last year we watched the Jets and the Browns, so right, we'd watch anybody.
Yeah, and what's crazy too, no, if people don't know this, a fun fact for people that don't know, and I'm sorry, Bears fans, because I'm talking to one right now. No team has ever won the Super Bowl if they played in the Hall of Fame game that year. So that's a tripped out stat that is continuing apparently because the Browns and Jets, the Jets were done, 30 seconds into their season last year, and then the Browns are the Browns, so they just collapsed. But
But there, the last two times that the Bears have played in the Hall of Fame game, both times they made the playoffs. So hey, I'll take that.
Oh, they that's an upside, right? That's upscale, and that's definitely where you guys want to go because what happened the last several years, it's just like, oh man,
Yep.
the angst and the just so many like what ifs and just damn those damn games, right? Like damn, we were so close, like damn. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's
I'll take it.
exciting, man. Football's back. It's almost like a dream to me right now because like we're talking about it, but I'm like, what? Football's tomorrow? Like what? There's no way. And then and like you said, like Devin Hester, right? Diamond in the rough. You said Houston or Chicago might find the next Devin Hester or someone that's going to be valuable. And I always bring up those tier B pieces, right? That's going to help you actually win the championship. There are the players that get you there, and then there's those guys that'll step up when on special teams or when you need a daunting play to happen, and then you solidify your championship run. So it's pretty cool. It's going to be exciting to see.
Yeah, I'm excited. I guess as a fan of the Bears, I'm excited because I get to see like those players that were maybe rookies last year and now have had a year under their belt. They're going to be starting tomorrow to
Right.
see how they developed, right? To see the progress they've made in a year. And then also you have those that are undrafted free agents, right? You want to see them make an impact coming into the league and seeing if there's potential to find somebody, again, a diamond in the rough that could help your team reach the playoffs this year. And then on top of all that, I think I'm excited because one, Devin Hester, he's going to be inducted. Steve McMichael's going to get inducted, and Jarrett Payton's going to be the one giving his speech, which is pretty cool. It's Walter Payton's son
Right.
giving the speech on behalf of Steve McMichael, and there's a lot of history there, right? I mean, Steve McMichael and Walter Payton played together, of course, on the same team, and then Jarrett Payton, his son, and Steve McMichael actually were player and coach, right? So Steve McMichael was a coach for the indoor football team in Chicago, and Jared Payne was a player under that team. So there's a lot of history, a lot of relationship between them two. So it's a special moment for them too. Um, but then to top it all off, right? We drafted Roma Dunze, who became a Bears fan because of Devin Hester, and so for him to be playing in the Hall of Fame game, right? He's probably gonna be playing too. If not, I mean, he still has the opportunity to see it all in person, which is cool.
Right.
But him being a big fan of Devin Hester, to see his favorite player growing up be inducted into the Hall of Fame, I think that's just, I don't know. It's like a storybook thing for him.
Storybook ending. Well, it's actually a storybook chapter because
Yeah,
he's
it's just
about
the
to write.
beginning.
Yeah, he's just gonna write his story. So good for him. And it's just yeah, there's so many things going on with just tomorrow, the football, the Hall of Fame, and just so many great things. And of course, there's breaking news from this point on, probably till like till February, really. So yeah, there's of course several players getting injured, and just Sam Williams, my Dallas
Yeah,
Cowboy was going to have this was going to be his breakout year just because there's going to a few a few veterans went off to free agency because Dan Quinn is not there anymore. So like this was going to be his like shining year of like showing what he can do, and then boom, that happens, and so I saw as his name's Chris Lawson, I think, or something. The Jets. He's
Carl Lawson.
Carl Lawson, and then Yannick Ngongwe. I didn't know he was a free agent still, but
Yeah, he wants a lot
I
of money. That's why the Bears didn't re-sign him yet.
oh my! Well, apparently he's going to visit Dallas. So Lawson and Ngongwe. Yeah, I'm like, how is he a free agent? So yeah, the money thing, like I don't know,
Yeah, he
but
he wants to earn like upwards of $10 million a year. That's what the Bears played him last year. Um, And the Bears, of course, then being a little bit more strapped for cash this year, they're like, we can't do 10 million in a year. You're gonna have to go, find that elsewhere. Apparently, he went last week to, I want to say it was Carolina, and he didn't get a contract there. So that might be the issue here, is that he probably wants a lot of money for 1 year, and it's just not
Yeah,
realistic
man. I mean,
sometimes.
you gotta kind of go up to what who can value you the most, right?
I mean, if I
Woo!
was in his shoes, I would take
Thanks, Gabe.
advantage,
Yeah,
wouldn't you?
exactly. Yeah,
Gone
and
to a perennial playoff team
right. Yeah, at
for
this
a chance.
point, yeah, he should try. He should be like, if Dallas is the place, like, hey man, I'll take a little pay cut. Like you guys have been 12-4, what, how many straight years? And then now you look at it, you're like, you could put me next to Parsons and Lawrence, and I'm like, geez, did you
Yeah,
see Madden 25? Lawrence and Parsons are in the top 10.
yeah.
Lawrence kind of surprised me, but I was like, of course I expected Parsons, but I was like, dude, Lawrence too. Like, damn, I think he's even better than 24 Lawrence then.
I don't know how those ratings they come up with those ratings, because I
Yeah,
don't know if you saw the running backs. Joe Mixon's like a 90 something. Joe Mixon hasn't been that relevant in a long time. And for him to be like on probably even above, like, what, let's say not Swift, but who's the other, Jameer Gibbs from
right.
Detroit. Like, for him to be above him, like, I don't think that's accurate at all.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how they do it sometimes, right? You're always kind of like, how is this person way up high? Like I love me
Yeah.
some Lawrence, but I honestly didn't think they would put him top 10. He's number 7. And
Interesting.
yeah, Garrett and Parsons are like pretty much 1 and 2. The Bears are going after Judon.
Yeah, I wish. It's just
Man,
a rumor.
so let's do some breaking news, Danny. I already started with Sam Williams, a defensive lineman, another one from Detroit Lions. He's out indefinitely, and they're hoping he gets back to maybe the playoff run if they make the playoffs. I forgot his name, but and then hey, your boy Moore signed an extension to help cap space and try to bring some. I would almost think that the pieces that they picked up now, he's like trying to solidify that core to make sure that no one leaves, right? So,
Yep.
um,
That's exactly
good
what he
on
said in
his
his
part.
press conference. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I mean that yeah, he's being unselfish there, to your point. And I think he wants to play with the same group for several years. And in his press conference he mentioned that. He said, I wanted to resign here because, one, we have a quarterback barely coming in. You have Roma Dunze, who's, in his rookie deal. You have Cole Kmet that recently just re-signed, and then you have just other pieces that are just being, kind of finalized and solidified for several years to come. And they asked him about Keenan Allen, and he's like, Keenan Allen should be next. And so he's hoping that the Bears front office will re-sign Keenan Allen because this is his last year. So I wouldn't mind that. I think continuity is key, especially with
Yes.
a growing quarterback.
Well, you look at Moore's career, right? I mean, look at his inconsistency, hands down, of uncontinuity in Carolina.
Yeah,
You went from Cam Newton, Sam Darnold. I mean, Young. I mean, there's like, or he didn't play with Young because that was his rookie year last year, but because he was a Bear. But I mean, he went through so many quarterbacks and coaches and coaching positions, position coaches, and then just pieces coming and going because Carolina was such a mess because of the owner and whatever else. He knows that Chicago has some potential, so let's see how much potential we have. So like I agree with his standpoint. It's like I like it. Like, hey man, we got some dogs and they're a lot younger, but like, hey, if we can all go out as a pack and then do some good things, then we'll be really good.
yeah, yeah. No, it makes total sense. Um, the only thing is, like, I'm just really nervous about that defensive end position. Right? You mentioned Yannick Ngakoue potentially going to the Cowboys. I think that hurts the Bears' chances of being as good as they were on defense, because right now they have one stud defensive lineman in Sweat, and then there's like no one else really to that's proven. So again, tomorrow will be a good indication to see which of those younger players on the defensive line will make that jump, right, and
Right.
offer more support. But who knows? Not
Whew.
holding my breath.
All good. So apparently the NFL and Sony just signed a massive deal. I saw Adam Schefter put that. So now they're gonna help with headphones and so many different things. And I'm like, man, and if it's Sony, I mean, they definitely know what they're doing, marketing wise. So I mean, they might do their own football things, from the in the future, especially if they have the NFL's back, right? So yeah, it's pretty crazy. They signed that, and then there
Did
was
you
some
also did you also hear about that Hawkeye? It's like the Hawkeye is supposed to be replacing the chain gang. And so now it's like some sort of technology where they have cameras set up all over every NFL stadium, and it pinpoints the accuracy of where the ball should be placed on those short, first down situations. So it's going to be very accurate, kind of like in the way I would imagine. I don't know, I haven't seen anything, but I would imagine it'd be like tennis. You know how the tennis they're able to track
right.
that ball and whether it went in and out. I'm thinking it's going to be like that. So they're going to replace the chain gang for those kind of situations.
But with bodies around, like tennis is different. There's no bod. There's no 22 bodies around the ball or something. Like what? I mean, that's going to be
Well,
kind of hard.
well, apparently that technology tracks the ball, so it knows exactly where
So the
that ball
something's
is.
in the ball.
Yeah, it's like a tracking mechanism,
Is it Tom Brady? It can deflate,
possibly
inflate, and just do whatever it wants. Yeah,
through an app.
yeah. He's gonna be like, you know what? I don't like this team. Let me click, and then man, that's
That's why he's working
crazy.
for Fox.
Yeah.
Now I
Oh,
get
there
it.
you go. Yep, it makes too much sense. But man, that's crazy. I didn't hear about that. That's wild. I mean,
Yeah, that just
you,
came out today, but it's not going to be ready for this regular season.
oh, okay.
It's going to be tested in the preseason, and then hopefully is next year 2025 they'll start using that technology. But they didn't rule out the use of this technology for like later in the season, maybe the playoffs or something. So
Yeah,
who
where it
knows?
counts the most.
Yeah.
How wild. Yeah, I mean, do you see the new onside kick rule? Like they are not allowed to do it unless they have to, and then you have to tell them you're gonna do an onside kick and all this other jazz.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
No
don't know.
more surprise.
I'm like 50-50 on it because like I get it because of the change of rule of how the kickoff is set up now. I get that part.
Hmm.
But I'm like, I'm excited to see a random onside kick. Just I mean, a head coach should always be ahead of another head coach, right? Like that's the whole chess game. So and then like we talked about it that one time where Parcells is like, hey man, they're gonna onside kick, so be careful. Boom, and then our guy gets the world record of the quickest touchdown in NFL history. So then like I missed that part because like what if would the Saints have won the Super Bowl if they didn't do the onside kick, Jenny?
I was just about to bring that up. No, they wouldn't have. That
I don't
wouldn't have
think
happened because
it
that
changed
changed
the
all the
momentum,
momentum.
everything. It changed the entire outlook of the whole game.
Yeah.
Hank Basket turned into a basket case. I mean, he just dropped the ball like oh man, that was crazy. But yeah, like I miss that just randomness of like, hey man, I'm a better head coach and I'm going to show you, like, and honestly, it takes away from Andy Reid because he's the one who did the onside kick in Philly, and he's the one who does that stuff. Bill Belichick, he signed something too recently. I forgot what it was, but I'm like, man, this guy. And then apparently he's got like a young girlfriend now or something. I'm like, when did he? When did
24.
when did he separate from his wife? Like that was tripped out to me. I didn't even know they're separated. And all of a
I
sudden, it's
know.
just like he's got a 24-year-old girlfriend. I'm like, of course. And of course, she was like one of the Patriots cheerleaders too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but how wild. But yeah, who knows?
I
Uh,
can't even imagine the conversation between his young girlfriend and him. He's like,
did you see this
move on to the
today?
Jets.
You see this? And he's like, yeah, it's fascinating. Right, spot on, right? Like that. I mean,
Exactly. Yeah, that was perfect.
woo, man, that's crazy. But any more news, Danny? Any more player news or anything?
No, just Ayuk still. I don't know what his deal is. I haven't heard anything else from last week. So who knows? And then now with DJ Moore's deal, like how does that impact
And
that
CeeDee
whole
Lamb.
situation? And CD Lamb, yeah. But CD Lamb's at least there, right? He's practicing now, no?
He showed up finally. I don't know.
I don't
I
know. I
don't
thought I
think
had read
so.
something.
I think people are just hoping, but I mean, I think that it changes the dynamic. But it also helps ownership, GMs, and coaches too. Like, hey man, this guy trusts his team, and he did this to help the team. So why don't you? You know what I mean? So now it's going to be
Yeah,
like both sides are going to nitpick probably, but
that's true.
that's crazy. But man, this is intense. Like, there's so much going on. We hadn't even kicked off until tomorrow. Woo. It's gonna be.
Yeah,
We get to see the first time of the new kickoff too.
yeah. So that's gonna be interesting too,
Yeah, see
to
how it
see how
goes.
how that all lines up and how
Can you
successful it is.
can you imagine they're not they're enshrining Devin Hester like, oh man, he's the man, and the very first kickoff in that game tomorrow gets returned for a touchdown. Can you imagine how ecstatic that would be? Like, that would be crazy.
That would be cool, but then also be like, damn, like he got into the Hall of Fame in the nick of time,
Like I told
right?
you, like that's I honestly think like, hey man, we need if we're gonna change the rule, who's the one person that's truly deserving for this, And it's just like, oh, of course, Devin Hester.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if they're gonna, it makes too much sense. And then Andre Johnson, of course, Houston was gonna be in the game just because it's what.
Sorry, no, I didn't mean to distract you. I barely saw the text from my brother. He's
Oh
like
yeah,
acting like a
the
tennis player. That's
I
funny.
know,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
I can't
jeez,
control my hair, so I
I
gotta do
know.
something with it.
That's it. Andre Agassi and Rafael Nadal had a baby, and that's Danny. Oh
I'll
man, that's
take it.
great. I know they're amazing, but man, uh, so let's start breaking down the Hall of Fame lineup. That this is the game, right? So we'll
Yep.
do let's do the two guys that we already brought up because your boy and then Texas royalty, the first Houston Texan to be enshrined. And of course, JJ will be the next Texan in the Hall of Fame. Like, there's no doubt about that. But because there's no other Texan that's even close to Andre Johnson's caliber and length of a franchise for them, except for JJ Watt. So uh, hopefully we can
Yeah,
pick up some stats too.
that's what I'm trying to pull up real quick from Pro Football Reference. Shout out to them. So I'm starting with Devin Hester,
Go figure.
right?
All good, all good.
Can you tell I'm excited about Devin Hester?
Oh, dude, I'm excited for like I loved him. Like, I mean, we always would talk about him. I'm like, dude, you got Devin Hester and Robbie Gold. If you don't have them, you don't have 14 points every game.
Yeah, no shit, that's true.
Like,
I ain't gonna
shit.
lie, that's true. Uh, all right, so we got Devin Hester up on the screen here, known
Woo,
as the Windy City Flyer. That's Gabe's fantasy football name that he would use for several years back in the day.
really?
Yep, that was his
I
name of
thought
his
it'd be
team.
more
So
like Radio Flyer. Ooh.
so we have him drafted in 2006, the same year that they went to the Super Bowl. And if I can pull it up here, he was in the second round, which is pretty cool because I was watching it was like a short little documentary that the Bears kind of put out there this week, talking about pretty much just interviewing Lovie Smith, right, his old coach, interviewing I'm trying to blank on this coach's name, who's now with Dave Tobe from Kansas City. And
Gabe's a
shout
funny
out
guy.
shout out to Dave Tobe because him and Andy Reid were actually coaches in at UTEP back in 1988.
Woo! How crazy.
So so they have some ties to the Sun City. But yeah, they were just talking about how, what Devin Hester meant to them. And at that time, the second round, it was really, I mean, it was rare for somebody to draft a special teamer that early in the draft, right?
Right.
So coming out of the draft, Devin Hester was not considered like a shutdown cornerback or anything like that. He was a returner. And in college, he returned kicks and punts, and he did it just as good as he did in the NFL. So when the Bears took him with the second round, people were like, "What the hell are they doing? Like, why would they, why would they even pick him up so soon?" And
Right.
then they found out quickly why. He became a weapon. They used him as a weapon on special teams. And several years, right? His first year, he took six kicks back, 6 kicks and punt returns, like total. Took him back to the house, led to the Super Bowl appearance.
Right.
Following year, another, I think it was another six, or now it was like seven even. So he had 13 in his first 2 years, which is great. I mean, that's,
Unprecedented.
yeah, like that does not happen. And again, we talked about the kickoff rules and as it is, and that's difficult to do, right? To take the ball, kick return it, punt return it, whatever. To take it back 13 times in 2 years, like that's just not gonna happen. And so, yeah, I mean, he did that for a couple years. He's still playing defense, right, every now and then, and mostly returning kicks. A couple years go by, and the Bears convert him into a wide receiver. At that time, Jake Cutler was the quarterback, and he didn't have the weaponry that Jake Cutler should have had, unfortunately. But Devin Hester was a big part of that, right? He was his home run hitter, and he could rely on him for those big plays. And then came in Johnny Knox and was another like a duplicate of playmaker, right? Speedster coming off, but they were never like those big possession wide receivers. But nonetheless, like Devin Hester never shied away from anything, right? As a kick returner, punt returner, he was, you know,
The
all
best ever.
pro. Yeah, a legend. When it came to cornerback, he did as best as he could. He was still one of a pretty good solid corner on that team. When it came as a wide receiver, still productive as well. And so it's just cool to see that they took this guy early in the draft, maximized his potential as a special teamer, and then lastly, they used him where they thought he would be a weapon in itself, right? As a wide receiver, he became the best weapon compared to as a cornerback. So Devin Hester had a very unusual time in the NFL, but what he's known for is those kickoff returns
Right.
and punt returns. So again, I don't think we'll ever see another Devin Hester as far as this day and age, right? We'll never see one again because now with the whole kickoff rules changing, we don't know how that's going to play an impact. And then who knows if we see the same level of success right on early on from somebody in the same way that Devin Hester was able to, to perform in.
Going back to what Gabe just said, he's like Deverus. I never knew that was his middle name. I mean, if that's key, like that's like Jordan Peele and what and when they were making fun of those football names, like I'm Devin Deverus Hester. Like that's
With those unusual
intense.
names.
Yeah, like it's intense. But yeah, man, Devin Hester, legend for sure. We'd always like you and I and Gabe would always text like, "Damn, he returned another one. Look at him go!" Like how crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely deserving. Like I said, the rule change, like you said, you don't know how it affects or it impacts. And what if it helps other, kickoff punt returns to just excel even more, or the kickoff, I should say. But so that's why they're like, you know what, let's go back to who was the best ever with the original format. So Devin Hester it is.
Yeah. But let's see um, how his stats are kind of shown here. Man, I hate all these fucking ads.
Dude.
Um, so receiving, rushing, I mean, nothing, right? Because he didn't do any of that until later. But I'm trying to look for his kickoff returns. Here you go. So in 2006, his rookie year, he had 3 punt returns and 2 kickoff returns, which is 5, and then 6 is the Super Bowl one, which they don't count.
I don't
But
know why
still,
they
it's
don't do that.
yeah, I know. I
It's still
mean,
technically the whole season.
they count it in college, right? Don't they?
I'm
If they
sure.
make the bowl games and all that, that
Because they don't make
counts.
stupid rules like the NFL. Well, let's not have an overtime where people win. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So he had 5, technically 6 in 2006, and then he had another 6 in 2007, and then he kind of just, he didn't return kicks for about 2 years, and then again he had 3, he had 2 or 3 again the following year. So he was just consistent with it. I mean, it happened every so often, which is pretty impressive. I mean, it's unheard of.
You know what's sad too is I wish they would have just kept him because he broke the record in Atlanta.
I
Like
know that
he only
that
needed
ruined it.
one more, and you let him go. I mean, if he's a special teamer at that point anyway, why does it matter if you're gonna, why get rid of him?
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of just that ruins the whole record breaking thing, right?
Well, yeah. Well,
Him
for
doing
you
it.
guys, for sure. Like, yeah, because you're a Bears fan. Like, dude, he's the best ever. And then you guys got, rip your shirt off and like with pride and just it's amazing. And then they're like, ah, well, he's almost one way from the record. Let's just let him get it in somewhere else. Like, who? Like, what? No.
Yeah. But Devin Hester, his role model was Deion Sanders,
Oh
and it
yeah,
was pretty cool for them to have that kind of relationship. I don't know
he
if you
wanted
remember
a
seeing all that.
payday. Well, someone should have fed him a payday.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't even know how to respond to that.
But going back to the year they drafted him, right? Let's give Lovie Smith all the damn love and credit because he was one of the main people that was there to draft him and fought for him. And the year what he went 10-6 his last year with Chicago. Then they fired him. And then I told you and Gabe, how the hell do you fire a winning coach? And since then, how's the team look?
That was the dumbest move in Bears as that I remember, right, in recent history. That was the dumbest move they made because that killed all the culture, right? That was at a time where Brian Urlacher was up for a new contract, right? So
Right.
after all that happened, he was like, "Hell no, I'm not gonna re-sign with the Bears," right? And then Devin Hester's contract came up, and then Peanut Tillman's contract came up, and none of them wanted to stick around and be a Bear, which sucked. And to top it off, we went through so many different coaches after that. Our defense was never the same. The coaches that we hired were a joke. The GMs we hired to replace those were a joke. And it's finally like it took us till today, till recently, to have a good culture again, one that's kind of predicated around the defense. And it took us, you know, technically it took us 10 years, honestly, because Lovey
I'm
was
telling
fired
you.
about 2012, after the 2012 season. So after that, like, yeah, it took us 10 years. So for us Bears fans, it sucked to be a Bears fan during this time, right? Because we went through so many coaches, through so many GMs. We got blown out by the Packers a ton, all because of a change of coach. Like that
Right.
just ruined
Yeah.
everything.
And I remember us three talking. Like I was just like, dude, like it's just gonna change the entire team. And you don't fire a coach that's winning. Like I mean, look at Jerry Jones. He fired Jimmy Johnson. He's never been back to the damn Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Piece of crap. But I'm like, how do you that okay? Like you said, that's the worst thing the Bears ever did. In Dallas, how do you fire a coach that just won the damn Super Bowl?
Egos. That's why.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, what are you like? What are you doing? But anyway, man, yeah, Devin Hester, all deserving faux show. Now let's go
Definitely.
to Houston Pride, Texas Pride, and the man
Andre
that they call
Johnson.
Andre Johnson.
I saw the video that you were telling me about last week
Oh,
about
Chris Carter.
Chris Carter going.
Yeah, that's
That was
so
cool.
cool. First round in the what was it? First
Uh,
round, third overall in the 2003 draft. I wonder who was before him. The
It
first and second.
was 2003. Let's find out. Let's go down this rabbit hole. Carson Palmer,
Not
Charles
bad.
Rogers. Remember Charles Rogers
But
out of
look,
USC?
two wide receivers. Who won out on that deal? Definitely
Yeah,
Houston. Can you imagine you're
definitely.
Detroit and you would have taken him? And then hell, he would have been next to Calvin Johnson.
I don't even think they would have drafted Calvin Johnson, or was he already drafted?
I don't know. Byron Leftwich. Look at all these people. Terrence Newman. We were too far down, but man, if we would have got an Andre Johnson, sheesh.
Yeah,
They're Troy Polamalu, Hall of Famer.
the next best wide receiver was Bryant Johnson, which
And then
yeah,
Terrell Suggs, man. That they had a man, 03 had a damn good draft class.
but you know what? Charles Rogers, this is Detroit. This is what kept Detroit from being a competitor or a competitive team, I should say, in the NFL during this time. They went Charles Rogers this year, and I want to say the following year they went Mike Williams, didn't they? So they went back to back,
Oh,
top.
they went back. No, that was Roy Williams, wasn't it?
Oh, Roy Williams. Yeah, Roy Williams. You're right. I was thinking about the Cowboys, Roy Williams.
But yeah, but they
Yeah,
were both Roy Williams. But there was a Mike Williams too. They had too, right? I mean,
it was a Mike something.
yeah, it was
But I
Mike
don't know if it was
Williams,
William.
Roy Williams, and Charles Wright because they had two Williams, I think, at one point. But look at his stats; like, they don't even show nothing. It
Yeah, I
shows
mean,
Andre's like historic run.
he had 36 receptions, 440 yards, 4 TDs.
But that was just it. Look, because it's
Yeah,
showing all of Andre's total stats.
yeah, these are career stats.
Then what did he do after? Like, what did he get in trouble or what happened?
Possibly, or if not, he was often injured.
Oh my god! Obviously, dang.
But
So,
yeah,
dude, that's nuts. But look at his stats: 70 touchdowns. He averaged almost 14 yards a catch, 14,185 yards. Sheesh. And that's when Houston. I mean, they were playing quarterback roulette back then. So I mean, can you imagine if he would have had a like a Stroud, like a
yeah. He,
solidified quarterback?
I was watching his highlights. He had David Carr. He had Matt Schaub, and then he had like a carousel of quarterbacks because of the injury history of both Matt Schaub and David Carr. But it was like
Right.
the likes of TJ
Fitzpatrick,
Yates,
TJ
Fitzpatrick.
Yates.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's TJ.
And
Who's
he
your
was still
mama?
productive. But I mean, he if you look at his games, I don't know if Pro Football Reference focuses on those games. It's just more like yearly statistics, but a lot of his games were 170 yards receiving,
Right.
one or two touchdowns. Like that was his common stat line.
Mm-hmm.
And that's impressive for him to be getting those kind of stats with, subpar quarterback play.
Hands
He's
down, a consistent guy you can rely on. Like, that's what sums up Andre Johnson.
Yeah.
You went from Charles Rogers at 2, and then Andre Johnson at 3, and the other guy's like, all right, watch me be Hall of Famer.
I,
Sheesh.
I didn't even know he played for the Colts. Do you remember that? Colts and then Tennessee Titans? I don't remember any of that.
Oh man. I
But
do remember one. Maybe the Titans. I don't remember the Colts, but I mean, I'm sure it happened. If
but
Tom
this
Brady can't, if
was
Tom Brady, Joe Montana are not safe, I mean, sure as hell, no one else is.
yeah, they took advantage of Andre Johnson's potential. They made him into a Hall of Famer. Or I mean, I don't know if they made him, right? Because they didn't put the supporting cast around him. But they drafted a great wide receiver who's now their first inductee into the Hall of Fame. And then right after that, like they maximized his potential up until about 2014 is from what I see here.
Yeah, because
Yep,
2015.
2014. So I'm sure
The
DeAndre
Colts.
Hopkins was probably there his rookie year learning from Andre Johnson, and he kind of just took the torch
Right.
and then became the monster that we all know DeAndre Hopkins to be. So that's just cool
And
that they drafted two studs.
if you're, it's so weird. So Houston Oilers is the original Houston team, which is now the Tennessee Titans. And if you
Mhm.
look at the trademark, both Andre and Hopkins went from Houston and ended up in Tennessee at one point.
Yep.
That's bizarre. Apparently they're all still family.
They are, and
Shoot.
it's I don't know. As a fan, it kind of is confusing sometimes. Like last year, I went to Houston for a work trip, and I was just talking to some random people out in the street, and then they were all excited because the football season was coming, and that was the time that the Tennessee Titans had unveiled their Oilers uniforms, their throwbacks. I don't know if
Right.
you remember that. So I was telling them, "Oh, that's so cool! You guys are gonna be able to see the Houston Oilers throwbacks this year, right? You guys are gonna be able to wear them." And they were like, "Oh, really? They're coming back?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think I just saw something." And then one of the guys was like, "Oh, no, no, no! That's the Tennessee Titans. We can't use the Oilers logos." And I was like, "That sucks! Like, how can
Yep, you can't. That's weird though.
how? Yeah, it's super weird. Like, how can you?" Being in Tennessee, that I don't even think you have that many oil rigs out there.
Yeah, music.
Why would you not give them the rights to that logo at least, right? You took them
Their-
away from their damn city, give
That's
them
the
the rights to
original.
the
It's the original owner, man. That's just how it works. Like, you mean, look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They become
yeah,
when they were the old school. They become the Dallas Texans. Like, that's so
that's
weird.
true. Yeah.
But going back to this thing that we're learning right now, he should have retired as a Jaguar. He would have went through the whole division. He only needed one more team, and he would have had the entire AFC South.
On that note, it pisses me off that now that we're going through the whole Hall of Fame, like I was looking through the website and I was just interested because you know how last week's episode we were wondering like, do the Jags have any? Do they have any Hall of Famers?
Right.
Do the Panthers have any Hall of Famers? So as I was going to the Hall of Fame site, I was looking at the Panthers section, and they consider Reggie White as a Hall of Famer under them. Like no, like Reggie White is a Packer or a Philadelphia Eagle. I don't know,
Yeah.
probably a Packer more than anything.
Yeah, because he won the champion. He would pick Green Bay because his longevity was Green Bay.
Yeah, I don't understand how teams can pick. Yeah, you know what? He played on our team for 2 years. He's our Hall of Famer. Like no, that doesn't count.
Well, it is. You said it's the Hall of Fame website, right? So it's just showing you what teams he was on, I guess. But yeah, that's
Well,
weird.
I searched for Hall of Famers by team, and so it showed me each team, and then it would
Sheesh.
show the list of who. But yeah,
That's wild. Who's next, Danny? Give me someone else. Let's go down this
let's go.
train.
Let's go with Dwight Freeney. What do you think?
Woo! Let's go. We're on the cult train right now, anyway.
I'm gonna test you. So, what was Dwight Freeney known for?
Known for
His move. Do you know what move?
um the spin move.
Yeah, he's the one that revolutionized that
That
spin.
his spin was so nasty and so daunting because it was like, all right, are you in the offensive linemen are lining up, and then they're used to going this way, so then like all right hike, and then you're going forward. Well, he shimmies and spins off of your first potential block, and then he's just off to the race to the damn quarterback.
That's impressive. Think about like the strength you need to make that move happen,
Oh yeah,
and then also the balance. Like you have to. I mean, you're running full speed, doing that spin move, and you have to stay on your feet because it's
and
easy for your momentum to take you a certain way.
and after doing the whole ballerina ice skating crap, you still have to go hit the quarterback.
Yeah, that
So how many sacks
this
did he
dude,
have?
this dude was amazing to watch. He had 125.5 sacks.
The reason why I asked, Bubba Baker still had more, and this dude not in the Hall of Fame, and he doesn't get no love. Like, how sad is that? What is going on? He beat him by 5, technically.
Yeah,
But
I don't
hey, I love
understand that.
Dwight Finney. Forced fumbles. Look at that. Forced fumbles 47. Like, that's insane. 299 solo tackles. Crazy. Look how many
This guy,
teams he played for.
well, that was towards the end when the freaking Peyton
The
Manning took off on him.
Chargers. So how long was he a Colt?
2000 to 10
10
years, 2002 to 2012.
So 10 years, and then he was Chargers twice, or 2 years, or 1 year.
I
1 year.
forgot he was with the Cardinals. This was the year that they went to the NFC Championship game with Carson Palmer, I want to say.
Well, when
2015.
they upset the Packers, right? And
Mhm.
that's your Hail Mary game, right?
And then this is the year that he went to the Super Bowl with the Falcons, right?
Yeah,
And
Dwight
lost.
Freeney. Yep. How
And then
crazy
Detroit Lions. This is the year that they went 0-16. Nah,
is it?
I'm just kidding. I'm just throwing shade at the Lions fans. And then Seahawks, which they have him here pictured with the Seahawks, 2017, and they were
His
quite
last.
successful during this time, right? This was like at the peak of the Legion of Boom.
No, that was a little after because they won in 2014. I want to say
Oh, you're right, 2015,
2013.
right?
2013 because 2014 they should have probably won that year too. But yeah, damn, that's crazy. Damn, he was a journeyman, huh? Towards the end.
Yeah, he was. He was going for that championship ring. So he got his one championship with the Colts, and then he was close with the Falcons. Should have had it with the Falcons, honestly.
Yeah, so he won with the Colts, right? The Peyton Manning.
Yeah, the year they played the Bears.
So you imagine some of the teams that weren't as good when he got there, and then he helped get better, obviously, because each of these teams, like the Cardinal run, the Chargers, man, that Chargers are always so weird because they have these great uniforms, they have the great look, they have great hype, and then they just crumble dramatically. And the reason why people don't show it more is because they're not America's team. The stupid Cowboys are always highlighted, so everyone's like, "Look at them crash and burn." But the Colts, or I mean the Chargers, remember that Thomas, the 15-1 season? I mean that team should have won the damn Super Bowl, and they just
Yeah.
crashed and burned so tragically.
Um, I was thinking about okay, 2001. So in 2001, the Colts didn't do too well. Right, they finished 6-10.
Mm,
Um, Peyton Manning was drafted in '99, right?
right.
So it was kind of bumpy his first couple years in Indianapolis, and then
You
he
build
got
the
some success
regime.
once, yeah, once he built that raw.
Yeah.
Um, so
Tony
this was perfect
Dungy.
timing. Perfect timing for Dwight Freeney to come into the Colts because it was 2002, and that's when the Colts were taking off, right? That's when
Oh
they were
man.
being the Colts that were scoring on demand. And then Dwight Freeney was that linchpin in that defense that just solidified it. And
They're
I mean, they weren't that stout, but they were impressive, right? When they needed to get a stop, they would get a stop, and he was the one always leading that charge.
Dwight Freeney was on the line. There was a linebacker that I used to love that they had, and then there was a secondary person that I loved that they had because they
Bob
were the
Sanders,
Bob
no,
Sanders maybe, yeah, that dude was bomb.
and then the
He
linebackers
was
at Robert Mathis.
Robert Mathis, yes, Bob Sanders, because Bob Sanders is the one that intercepted Brady, right, to get to the Super Bowl, right? They're like, the Colts are finally gonna
Yep,
go, the Colts are finally gonna go, and
yep,
then yeah, that's
that
the
was
year that they beat the Bears, right?
yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, Robert Mathis, man, I loved him. He was such a good linebacker. Yeah, Bob Sanders. Yeah, that's crazy. There was another guy too in their secondary that I actually liked too. He had kind of longer hair. I forget his name. But anyway, yeah, that defense that year for sure was like, they're one of the reasons why they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they built
And they were
a
they
really
were they were
solid.
undefeated in and Tony Romo's like, what was it, his second or third year or his first year, whatever, they upset them. Yeah, it was Tony Romo's first starting year, and they upset the Colts, and then that was their first loss of the year. Dallas beat them 21-14, I think.
Really,
Yeah,
where at in
in
Dallas?
Dallas. Yeah, yeah. That like the Cowboys were getting hot late, and then everyone was just like, Colts have to lose sometime, and then yeah, that Romo upset them, and I think Peyton Manning got picked off towards the end, and that's what solidified the win.
That's crazy. I'm just looking at his sacks numbers here, year over year. I mean, he was averaging more than 10 a year.
The first three, huh?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
first
And then
four.
even the first four, yeah, yeah. Dang, that's
And then he had a
crazy.
little bit of a dip. I mean,
I think he
here
was
looks like
injured a year or two.
yeah, he was injured, and then he came back in 2008 and again picked it back up. And then as a member of the Cardinals, he got 10 sacks. No, sorry, 9 sacks. No, sorry, 8 sacks. I'm gonna get the wrong column there.
Man, that's
Yeah,
crazy. But man, yeah, I love Dwight Freeney, man. He was awesome. How many Hall of Famers do we have?
you're testing me here. I don't know
I,
the
would-
exact number. I
I
want to
would
say
say
like
like 7.
I think so.
So we're at 3
Let's
right
see.
now.
Let me check. Hold on. Well, Steve McMichael. Let's look at Steve McMichael.
Let's look him up next. So 2 Bears in one. Damn.
Oh, Julius Peppers. We're forgetting about Julius Peppers
Oh, I
too.
remember. Yeah, I remember. Oh, wow. Stephen Michael's from Texas.
He's from Texas.
Wow.
So Stephen Michael. I mean, he was a character. I don't know if you remember him. I mean, he was
He's
before our
drafted by
time.
the Patriots. Like even he wasn't even drafted by the Bears. How crazy.
Yeah, drafted by the Patriots, but he built his career as a
In
Bear.
Chicago. Oh yeah, for sure.
Come on, why is it? Okay.
He only was only there 1 year. How crazy.
Yeah, 1 year. I wonder how that happened. I gotta look into that. See, either they release him, did they trade him? Like what happened? But
Right.
apparently, out of 6 games, he didn't start any. Only got 5 tackles,
They might have
and then of
traded him,
course,
huh?
possibly. And with the Bears, he started or he played in 10 games but didn't start any. That was 1981. 1982, he again didn't start any, but he did play 9 games and he got 2.5 sacks from that. And
And then look
then
at
as 83, 84,
that's when he took
85.
off. Look at 84 and
Yeah.
85. Obviously, the 85 is the championship run. So,
Mm-hmm. So he was just consistent,
have
consistent. I
you
mean,
ever
we
seen? Go
go ahead.
ahead. You go first.
I was just gonna say, you know how we talked about in the last couple episodes that defensive tackle is not an easy position. It's not like one that gets a lot of praise and statistics from because it's a difficult position. You're right in the middle of everything,
Mm.
right? You're going up against centers, guards. Like it's not one easy position to kind of, um, master. And so again, from like looking at his statistics, they're not eye popping compared to a defensive end, but from the middle, a defensive tackle to get 8, 10 sacks, 7 sacks, even, I think it's very
It's
productive and it
awesome.
shows
Well, he
it
was a
shows that he gets a quarterback.
damn good run stopper, I'm sure. But look at his best year was the year that we were born. 11 and a half sacks.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Bears, 84, they went to the NFC Championship game that lost to the 49ers. 85, they went to the Super Bowl. And I want to say 86 and 87, they were still in the playoffs.
Right.
Even 88.
Well, yeah,
Like
and
they
then
were
that's when
competitive
like
this whole.
the coaching staff was always, they changed and all that jazz. The Do you ever see like the 85 Bear story and stuff
Yeah.
like on NFL Network and how yeah, that's what yeah, Gabe said it like they're stopping the run like I said. Like he was probably a badass run stopper. But
Yeah.
did you ever see when Mike Ditka talked about beating the Cowboys that year and it actually hurt his feelings?
No, I don't
Oh,
remember that.
dude. Oh man. Like that was like the main thing that stuck out to me because like you obviously you want to beat the crap out of your opponent, right? Like that's the whole point. Like you're there to win. But yeah, Mike Ditka, he's talking about like, yeah, we went to Dallas to play Tom Landry and he's like thinking about he's like someone who was like a father to me that brought me into football, that got me to where I was. Then we just hammered Dallas and just like Tom Landry came and shook my hand. He was like, did good, son. You learned well. And then, dude, Mike Ditka literally tears up. Like, he was like, man, it's like beating your own father at something. He was like, it was the worst one I ever had in my life. I was like, damn, how crazy.
I know he has a lot of love for the Cowboys
Yeah,
because that's
yeah, it was
where
41-0, I think. You're right, Gabe.
he had a
Yeah.
lot of love for the Cowboys because he was there as a player and
Yeah,
a
he
coach.
drafted. Yeah, tight end and then coach. Yeah, that's what he said. Like Tom Landry is what taught me everything. 41-10. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, yeah, I remember like that was the main thing I remember because he was literally pretty much crying because of a win. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
41-10. That sounds good.
I'm sure it did. Not for Dallas, but yeah, that's crazy.
But
But
Steve McMichael, like I mentioned, like he had a solid playing career. His stats speak Hall of Fame worthy, in my opinion. Right, being a defensive tackle, getting this level of production from it. I mean, look at it.
it's so
I
crazy
mean,
that people always go to rivals, man. Like he retired as a Green Bay Packer. Like that's fucking crazy.
I know,
Oh, stupid Green
and that's probably where he had his worst year. Well, that's what he gets.
Bay.
But
But it may not have been his fault either.
yeah,
They probably
but
released
no,
him like, "Yeah, you're old, bro."
Steve McMichael. I mean, he's a personality. If you've never seen him like normal, like his normal self, watch him like his interviews where, I mean, he was just a character. Like he was one of those bad boys, right? That bad boy image, but he didn't come off across like one of those people that was just a douchebag. Like that's not who he was. He was just a character. He was who he was, and he didn't hide it. He didn't shy away from it from the cameras, and people embraced it and loved him for it.
That's why
And
I loved him.
yeah, and
He
then he went on
he
to
is
pro
who he was.
wrestling.
Yeah.
He was in WCW, right?
Like,
So he wrestled with Four Horsemen. I think that was. He was a part of that wrestling group. And then again, like I mentioned earlier, right, with Jared Payton, he coached the Chicago indoor football team, which in that case, the arena football was pretty big at that time in the early 2000s. So he was just always managed to stick around the Chicagoland area, and he's one of the legends in Chicago even till today.
we've been talking about it a few times in a few episodes, and now it brought it up in my mind again. We should definitely do it. So like maybe in February when we're trying to find out another episode to do or whatever, or, when things are a little slow again, we should do a list, the top list of a guy who got drafted by one team and then ended up being a Hall of Famer with the other team that he went to. Because you got Marshall Falk, you got Jerome Bettis,
Steve
McMichael,
Young.
Steve Young, Chris Carter. You know what I mean? Like Brett Favre.
Hmm.
Like there's so many that we can go down the list, and I'm like, there's plenty of them. And like that'd be fun. Like, all right, they got drafted here, but remember they ended up a legend here. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool, and then it'd give our viewers
We would probably
a
learn
little
more shit.
education. Yeah, we
Like
always do when we
the
do this
whole
stuff.
Bubba thing. Yeah, I know the whole Bubba thing. Like it's crazy. But man, who's next, Danny? Let's do Julius Peppers. I
Let's
loved
do
him. God, I
Julius
loved him.
Peppers.
And he even had a cool name,
Yeah,
like Orange Julius, and then you got Peppers, and then put on
Orange
salt
Julius.
on. Sheesh! Look at that, 160 sacks in his career, bro. Like what? Like how? Look
I
at
know you keep thinking
500.
about Bubba.
I know, but at least he's beat Bubba. He's the first person that we've done that's actually beat Bubba. So I'll give him that. 150, well, 557 to 52 forced fumbles. Good God, that's insane. How long was he a Panther?
Good. Well, I want to say 10 years.
Just go to the.
Uh,
Just go to the. You could
right
have gone.
here.
Yeah,
More. Well, this is kind of
6 years.
misleading. It's misleading because it's saying 2002 to 2018. That's not true. It was more
go
like 2002 to 2012. I want to say. No.
to go to the Bears.
Let's see here. 2010 to 2013.
God, that's
Okay.
crazy.
So 8 years. He was 8 years with the Panthers, and then he went to the Bears. Played for 4 seasons,
That Green Bay again. They just taking everybody.
and then
Assholes.
Green Bay. He went with Green Bay.
I do remember that squad. He won the
No,
Super Bowl with that squad, right?
no,
No, that was what 2010, huh? That
he
the Packers.
lost. Yeah, he lost to Green Bay in the NFC Championship game, and they went
Oh, he
to the Super
almost
Bowl.
won the Super Bowl. But Jay Cutler was there. That's why. Oh, my
That's what
toe.
happened.
He hit my
It
pinky
was
toe.
his knee.
Oh my god. God. I'll never.
Making it sound
I'm
worse.
not even a Bears fan. I'll never forgive that dude ever. I'm like, you're
Yeah,
at one of the biggest games and one of the biggest things in your life, and you're just gonna puss out on your team, bro.
yeah. I hated Jay Cutler after that for sure.
And
Putting
his
the
face too. Remember, he would sit there in his jacket and just kind of like,
yeah the resting
and I'm,
bitch face look.
yeah, like I'm like, oh, dude, I'm not even. Man, it just makes me so mad. But anyway, and imagine you
But
guys could have possibly had your second Super Bowl
yeah, I mean, it blows my mind. Like he didn't tough it up to play.
because he would have had a week off, like because there would have been the Pro Bowl, and then you know what I mean. Like there's, uh,
What would have happened if they would have won that game?
yeah,
And then would he have you know given up his chance
and
to play the Super Bowl? I doubt it.
his legend would have been different. Like you went
Yep.
from like being Luke Skywalker to like Darth Vader in a matter of seconds. Like, bro, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
That was the turning point in the whole Jay Cutler era.
Yeah, yeah. And then Brandon Marshall was probably like, bro, I can't trust this
Yeah.
dude. Like,
Oh, that's why he wasn't with us in that game, unfortunately. If he would have had him, it would have been a different story, I think. But yeah, no, I think when
maybe, but
Brandon
if your
Marshall came
quarterback
back,
sits down,
yeah. Well, if he sits down, he wouldn't have let him sit down. But that's the thing. Like Brandon Marshall lost all. I think he lost all the respect he had for him when he came back to Chicago and played with him again, because he saw that he saw how the city embraced you,
right.
and they love Brandon Marshall. Like people still love Brandon Marshall till today, and
I love
they
Brandon.
saw they saw how Jay Cutler, was being scrutinized, and rightly so. And then, he saw his little, I don't know what you would call him, like his little ticks, negative ticks, right? Things that would piss off even like the veterans like Brian Urlacher or whoever. Like he just was not one of those people that built up the culture in that locker room. And Brandon Marshall saw
Is
that and he was like,
in any sport, there's so many in life, in school, work, or there's so many people, especially in sports, because you're able to watch them. They have the potential to be like one of the great things that city or team has ever had, and they don't because of what the worst case scenario is. They don't because of injury. But when you do it out of your own spite, like your own ignorance, your own pettiness, your own fault of why you're not as great as you should have been, he's one of those people. Like Jay Cutler was hands down. He could have been. He could have been. He could have surpassed McMahon's like belovedness because of a new generation of fans. Like there's media now. Like you know what I mean. He would have been so hyped,
yeah.
and he
Bears
chose
fans are craving that. Bears fans are
exact.
craving the love for a quarterback in the city because we've never
Yeah,
had it.
exactly. And then now you got someone that paints the nails. So hopefully he'll be the hype man, and he'll
Hopefully.
because he's flashy. So hopefully Caleb's does what he's supposed to do, and show up.
Yeah,
We're
we'll see.
hoping. I pick Caleb over Ditch Mitch for sure. Like
Yeah.
I
I I hated that selection
you
from the
guys
very
are
beginning.
like progressing from Ditch Mitch to Fields didn't really have all his opportunities either, and then now you're you know what I mean. You're progressing in quarterback draft, so that's good.
Yeah, we got to hit one of these, right?
Sheesh.
Hey, but
All
to
right.
Justin Fields' credit though, he's balling out in training camp. Have you
Well, that's
seen
what I'm
him?
saying. Like maybe he didn't have. I mean, he didn't have all the
Yeah, I think that's
pieces.
a given. That's a given. You have to be blind to say that he didn't maximize his potential. You know, it wasn't him. It was the
See,
coaching
his
around him.
name's Justin Fields. The field was playing him. He wasn't playing the field.
Exactly. See what you did there.
See.
All right, let's get back to Peppers. We've kind of been sidetracking here with the Bears conversation today.
Yeah, well, it's all good. You're hyped up because you're in the Hall of Fame. So
I know Gabe doesn't mind, but all our other viewers might be like, "What the hell, Bears again?"
Green Bay's and Lions and Vikings fans, oh
Right.
my. The Lakers, boo. But
So let's
man,
look
that's
let's
crazy.
look at his accomplishments though. He before making the Hall of Fame, he was a 9-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All Pro. Making All Pro is difficult, right? So
Oh
for him
yeah.
to do that 3 times, again, he was a Defensive Player of the Year. I want to say when was it? 2002 was his rookie year of the year, Defensive Player of the Year, and then he won. What I want to say he did win the Defensive Player of the Year, didn't he? I can remember. I could have sworn I saw him win that award.
At least
It is not shown
once.
here.
But you know what? Him and Freeney, like in Madden back then, if those dudes became free agents, like I was picking them up in a second, man.
Come on, site. These damn ads make it.
Can you imagine back then, like free agency, right? Like if Jerry Jones was actually smart back then, he finally built some squad now. But imagine in free agency, right? The Bears go after Julius Peppers, right? What if you put him alongside DeMarcus Ware at that time? Can you imagine?
That would have been havoc
Yes.
on anyone that they played.
Yeah, like on each side, can you imagine like who you gonna double team? You have to do
Nobody.
one. You have to do one.
I
Like,
mean,
man,
you do that, right? You do any one of those two guys, and then the middle gets open.
right.
Like
Yeah,
it just
Jared
opens up
is
so
so
many different
dumb.
things.
Like, you could have had, like, we were talking about Ray Lewis that time, and Ray Lewis was like, pointing at the Cowboys, like, bro, like, this year, I want that star. And they're just like wish washed it, like it never happened. And then, like, we're looking at this, we're talking about his stats and stuff. Can you imagine if Dallas goes after him instead of Chicago, and you have him next to DeMarcus Ware at that time? And then Marcus Spears was there too.
Yeah, that's true.
Jeez, that would
That
have
would have
been
been
fire.
that's crazy. If I was a GM, that's what I'd do. I'd double dip on positions like that.
Right. Like, if you already
Especially
have
if I was the
one
Jacksonville
piece.
Jaguars. Jacksonville Jaguars having the top pick year over year,
Yeah.
and
Like,
then
why
not
not build a regime around the best you have?
you got to build something that somebody will fear.
A solidified piece with what is good for you to begin with. Oh, man. Exactly. Man, I want to be a GM so bad. Like, if there's a way, if there's a wish, if someone's watching and your team sucks this year and you need a GM that actually will, like the Browns, the Cleveland Browns, please call me. We're changing uniforms, logo. Like, we're going to make a complete overhaul. Deshaun Watson, we're going to send him to the massage parlors. I don't care. Like, we're changing the whole outlook.
Oh man.
Oh, man. Here we go. Man, yeah, man. But Julius Peppers, a stud of a stud for sure.
Yeah, I agree. He was fun to watch too. Like whenever he needed a play on defense, he would get it either through a tip pass, interception. He was
Right.
just so athletic as a defensive end. I mean, you
Yeah,
didn't really see that, right? And
yeah,
he
he
had
would.
basketball. He had a basketball background, which really helped. I mean, he was just probably one of the most athletic defensive ends that I've seen. Now,
He's
other than what's his name? Your Cowboys guy,
Parsons.
Parsons. Thank you.
But Parsons is one of those like 1 in a billion type of dudes, man. Like, it's so weird how he's freakishly that weird. Even
And he's
even
not
in,
that big, right?
yeah, he's not.
Compared to these guys.
Yeah, but going back to your whole Julius Peppers thing, whatever we talked about, Calais Campbell, right?
Yep.
I think obviously he was drafted. Julius was drafted before Calais. Remember the jump ball tip drill that you can't teach, and Julius was so good at that.
Yep.
Like, man, oh man, I'm not gonna get the quarterback. Palms up, boom, block. Like, he was so freaking amazing at that, and that was one of the things I loved about him the most. Is because, like, you're gonna get your sacks because your job is to attack the guy with the ball, and
Yeah.
that's the quarterback. But I'm like, oh, not gonna get him. Palm, boom, deflection. Julius Peppers. Who else? Like, that was so awesome to watch.
That's why he was so smart, right? He knew when he wasn't going to get there, and he would do anything in his power to make a play, really.
Right.
And at that time, you didn't see that. You didn't see that type of play. You would see bull rushers, right? People that were mainly just strong getting to the quarterback. And then it's cool because we saw him kind of start that trend, and then it happened again in like later in 2010s with JJ Watt. JJ Watt
Right.
was the exact same way where he would throw up his hands and
Yeah, he
you
was
know,
smart. You can't teach that either, because
yep,
someone's psychological output is like, oh man, my job is to get the quarterback, but it's like I need a multitask. If I can't get through my guy in 2 seconds, then I got to figure out something else, and it's
yeah.
hard to teach that. But who's next, Danny? This is awesome.
Oh, so look, real quick before we move on, look at this though. Look at this level of production. 12 sacks his rookie year, 7, and he didn't start all 16 games. Look at this. 2002 he started 12 games and still got 12 sacks. And then 7, 11, 10, 13, 2, he was probably injured here. I don't know what happened. And then 14 and a half, 10 and a half, 8, 11, 11 and a half. Like, he was just consistent.
So crazy, man.
And even towards the end of his career, like, you know, as a veteran pass rusher, you would pay for this kind of level of
Oh,
production.
look, that's where the 2018 part comes into effect. Those last
He
2
came
years,
back to
remember,
Carolina.
he went to Carolina, remember, so they could retire him properly.
Yeah,
That's right.
that that makes sense
So
now.
that was right. Like,
But
we
well,
were
it was kind of
bashing. It was weird
it's
because
kind of
it went through the whole. Yeah, it didn't even
It's
show like
misleading
this. Yeah,
because it shows 2002 to 2018, and that's not true.
right. Yeah, because he had a gap, massive
Yep.
gap.
All right. The next one, to be quite honest, I have no idea who this is, but let's learn together.
Bobby
Unless you,
Boucher,
unless you know who this is. 1974 to 1983, linebacker
Randy Gradisher. Is he
from
still
Ohio
alive?
State. I
And
want to
he was
say
from
he
Ohio
is
too. Denver Broncos. He was first round, 14th overall. Wow, linebacker.
20 INTs. That's pretty amazing.
Damn, for a linebacker.
hmm
Shit.
3 TDs.
Where's his tackles? Why don't they stat that shit? What the hell? It's gonna be another. It's gonna be another stat that wasn't plotted.
Probably so, right? 1978, nothing like that was tracked until you said 1982, right?
Well, sacks, yeah. 82 was the sack. That's cool
So,
that he
but
was Denver the entire time.
yeah, that's rare.
Yeah.
So
So we get Bronco in there.
his rookie year, he started 3 games, but played 14 games. I think at that point it was 14 games in a season, right? Back in that day.
Yeah, like 12.
Um, he had 3 INTs his second year, 1 touchdown from it, and then damn, where are his tackles? What the fuck?
That's what I'm saying.
They probably didn't track all that.
That makes no
No,
sense.
sacks prior to 1982 are not official. But where the fuck?
Yeah, we're tackles then. I mean, homeboy had to hit people. Like, but anyway,
Interesting.
right.
He was in the playoffs 1977,
Well,
1978.
77 they lost the Super Bowl, right, to the Cowboys.
That's true. Good call out. 1983, that's when what's his name was drafted, no? Wasn't that John Elway's? Or I'm thinking
Yeah.
Dan Marino.
No, they were in the same draft. That's the year of the quarterback because they got Marino. They got, I mean, a shit ton of quarterbacks that year. That became like star-studded quarterbacks. Marino, Elway. I mean,
But
there's a lot.
well, although we can't see his tackles though, this dude must have been a stud. And I'm gonna go see his highlights from it because this is quite interesting to see that he made the Hall of
Hall
Fame.
of
And
Fame. Yeah, with no
I,
tackle stat.
well, I'm sure he's deserved of the
Oh
Hall
yeah,
of
for
Fame.
sure.
But look at this: his awards: Defensive Player of the Year in 1977, again in 1978, again in 1979, and then he won it again his final year, 1983. Like that's you don't hear about that happening a lot.
That's crazy.
So he must have been a stud
And
at that
he even
point.
had a crazy name too, Gladishire, right, or something.
Gradishar,
Gradishire.
Randy Gradishar.
Definitely
I'm curious to see,
a fighting football name.
um interested to see what he looks like. Check this out. Hold on, let me bring it up so you can see it.
Gabe, are you still with us? He's the only one chiming in right now.
Check this out. You know he's a monster when he looks like that. Get those
He looks like a damn
shoulder
moose.
pads. Yeah, you ain't gonna do nothing. He kind of looks like Buckus.
Yeah, go up. I want to see his like younger. If you can go up.
Oh, you're looking at the wrong one. My bad.
What do you mean?
You're not looking at the right screen I was looking at. All right, so now I'm back on it. So
Oh,
let's
okay.
see.
But damn, that's crazy.
This is what he looks like now. Anyway, you added up, Randy Gradishar belongs in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Denver Post. Gotta go read that.
Look at him. Yeah, he looks awesome. He looks like a ball player.
Yeah,
Good for him. And the fact that he's still alive, thank God. So he can actually live this.
yeah, he deserves it.
Mm-hmm. And who's next on our list?
Last but not least,
So how many was that? How many is that? 6, 7?
I want to say 6. 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 7.
I was
7.
right.
We talked about this guy a few weeks back. And I think it was a most productive rookie um, episode. Bring it up.
Patrick Willis. Dave don't deserve to watch this.
This was his boy, his favorite player of that
Honestly,
era.
he's the youngest one. Him and Hester.
Yeah.
Because all the other ones are kind of, up there, I
Well,
think. I mean, well, I
yeah.
mean,
Well, let's see.
Peppers and
Freeney, Peppers and Freeney were 2002, weren't they?
yeah.
So yeah,
So so
they were
Peppers going to
older.
go in as a Panther, right? Because they drafted him and then he
Mm-hmm.
retired. Okay,
Yep.
crazy.
Which makes sense. I think any
Yeah,
football
yeah,
fan really recognized him as a Panther more than anything.
yeah.
But this guy, man, this guy was a tackle machine. He also got to a quarterback when he needed to get to the
Patrick
quarterback.
Willis, good for him. Because like he's not that old. I remember. I
He's
mean,
not. He
he's
he
only.
he he retired early. Remember
Mhm.
when he retired? People were like, "What the hell? He's only 7 years in, or whatever it was." And this guy was just a monster, man.
He's
He
only
just made a difference.
39. And he made the Football Hall of Fame like that. Like number 11, first overall pick for them, 11th overall in the '07 draft. Who did '07? Who
Let's
did?
go back.
Yeah, I'm like, who did the Bears draft that year and who did the
No,
Cowboys
we don't
draft?
want to. We don't want to look at that, man.
Look, Calvin Johnson, Joe Thomas. Look at that.
See,
All Hall
Calvin
of
Johnson was
Famers.
in '07. Cool. We were wondering about that earlier. So
Look at
Calvin Johnson was
Jamarcus Russell,
'07.
the biggest flop in NFL history with
Ooh,
$100 million, and he was just a rookie. And then now, for those that don't know, he's the reason why that the rookie contract clause went into effect because the Oakland Raiders at the time, now Las Vegas, gave this dude $100 million before he even played a damn game, and he is not worth a damn nickel.
nope. Nope. Look at this. Gaines Adams, Tampa Bay. He
Levi
died
Williams.
early.
He died.
Yeah. Yeah, he died. The Bears, he was on the Bears, and then he passed away right before the season started.
What? Look at Adrian Peterson.
Yep, Adrian
Jamal
Peterson.
Anderson, bro. Ted Ginn Jr. Remember Ted Ginn?
Oh,
Damn,
we'll be a
Darrell Revis, Patrick. Look at how many people in this draft class is probably gonna be in the Hall of Fame. Like Peterson will eventually be in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a good class. Jamarcus
Ted
Russell was
Ginn.
the only one. Was oh jeez.
Ted Ginn was one of those gadget
Man, he was so good. He was
players,
so
but
cool.
he was a playmaker.
Lawrence
Darrell
Timmons.
Revis.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Jarvis Moss, I remember him. Leon Hall. Michael Griffin. Remember Michael Griffin? He had a few good years.
Brady Quinn.
Aaron Ross. I remember I wanted Dallas to get him. Oh, Brady Quinn. Sheesh.
Joe Staley he'll probably be a Hall of Famer eventually.
Mm-hmm. Dude,
Greg
Dallas
Olsen.
didn't even have a damn. Oh, it's right there. Anthony Spencer. He had a few good years. Purdue. Anthony Spencer. Who did the Bears? Greg Olsen. Hey man, I guess we both did okay from where we drafted.
Yeah, that was actually one of the hits that they made.
Dude, Greg
Then
Olsen, man, I loved him. And it's crazy. We're talking about Peppers going from Carolina to Chicago, and then Greg Olsen got drafted by Chicago, and then had a Hall of Fame career in Carolina.
Yeah,
He's gonna be on that list maybe one day. Because him and Cam Newton, man, they were badass together.
he'll make the Hall of Fame, and honestly, I think he'd probably end up a Panther making the Hall of Fame because he spent most of that time there.
Yeah, because
which sucks.
He left after his rookie deal, right? From Chicago, like.
No, he left. I want to say it was like after 2010, that year that they lost to the Packers.
Oh, 3 years after.
That year. Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, after his rookie contract, he was gone.
Yeah, after his rookie contract. Yep.
Yep. Then he went to what, like 10 years at Carolina or something? He was there a long time. And
But
he
Patrick
retired a
Willis,
Panther, right?
yeah, that's a good question. I think so.
But yeah, Patrick Willis, man, this dude, phew, badass player.
Check this out. 11th overall. We saw who was drafted before him. Um, but also 733 tackles, solo tackles, 20 and a half sacks, and then 16 forced fumbles in just 112 games.
And we're not even counting his interceptions. But look at the solo tackles. Like, how the hell?
I'm telling you, this guy was
I
as
wonder
good as
why
Ray
he
Lewis.
retired.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't even think he ever said. But he looks good. Have you seen him today? He looks like he's
He
ready
looks
to
the
play still.
same. Yeah.
Check this out. 174 combined tackles. We went over this in a couple episodes ago, but 136 solo. Like, that's just a lot. He averaged 100 solo tackles a year pretty much for his entire career, with the exception of 2011 and 2014 when he was hurt.
Crazy.
So, quarterback hits, he was hitting the quarterback. Tackles for loss, he was always behind the line of scrimmage tackling. Like, he was always just involved in a play. So he was their staple on defense.
Can you imagine if he'd have played a few more?
I know. Look at this: 4 sacks, 4 sacks, 6 sacks, 2 sacks, 3 sacks. Like, amazing. And then ints. You wanted to know about that? He has 8 total ints. So he had none his rookie year, 1 second year, 3 his third year. So I mean, interceptions from linebackers are pretty rare in itself. So it's
Yeah.
still he was around the
Except for
ball.
that one guy we just watched or checked out, Gladishar. So maybe that's
Hmm.
one of the reasons why he went to Hall of Fame. Because I mean, damn interception. He was a ball hawk for a linebacker.
Yeah, could be. Could
Pretty
be.
wild.
But look, he
Man,
won
this is
defensive
so
rookie of the
exciting.
year, and he won the defensive player of the year as well in 2011. Was this the year that they had Kaepernick? Yeah, right.
The year that they went to the Super Bowl.
Because they played in 2012 Super Bowl
Yeah.
against
Yeah,
the
because
Ravens.
2011 they lost to the Giants in the championship game. Remember the punt returner fumbled the ball, and then that's pretty much led the Giants victory. And then that's when they beat Tom Brady again.
Yeah. Gabe is saying that he thinks a broken leg made him retire.
Well, maybe that makes sense because I mean, look how many shattering legs that ended people's career, man. That's crazy in the Hall of Fame though. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure there've been people that played longer and then they're like, damn, he's already in. But good for him.
He only played 8 years and reached the Pro Bowl 7 years. Pretty pretty amazing.
And he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Pretty
Now I want to
intense,
see
bro.
I want to see where Luke Kuechly, because Luke Kuechly and Patrick Willis had very similar careers. I want to say, like, they were both around the
I
football a
love
ton,
Luke Kuechly, man.
and they
Captain
played
America.
a short time as well. So right off the bat, Pro Bowls, which is pretty good, just as much as Patrick Willis.
Damn.
18 interceptions. Check that
And I
out.
saw that right now. That dude was a ball hog for a linebacker. I remember.
Crazy. Yep. I mean, look at his combined tackles too. He was up there.
Yeah, he was only 7 years
His
too. Damn, that's crazy.
sacks. Let's see, sacks. 12 and a half. Not as much as Patrick Willis, but he was still.
I used to love Luke Kuechly. He had a cool
Me
name
too.
too.
I remember him coming out of Boston College. I was like, damn, that dude's gonna be a stud.
Yeah. Who he got drafted in 2012, right?
Yep.
Did we see who? Did we already check out someone that's 2012? What did we get?
That was the Robert Griffin year. RG3.
And look,
Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck, RG3, Trent Richardson,
He was a bust. Matt Khalil. Justin Blackman was a big
Blackman.
bust.
Yep.
Morris Claiborne,
Ryan
I would say, was a
Ryan
bust.
Tannehill. Like these are people that are still playing. That's why they're highlighted, right?
Yeah. I remember. Do you remember Ryan Tannehill coming out?
Yep.
How he was a He was a dual player, like wide
Yeah.
receiver and quarterback.
Yeah, he did 1 year of quarterback in his final year of college
And he was
in
one of the
what
best.
Texas A&M, right? And then
Yep, Texas A&M.
yeah, then that's why he got drafted high.
It's
Now
the
he's
big
on.
deal,
Where's
man.
he at now?
He's a free agent still.
Really?
Hmm.
You're a Dallas kid. Is that this is 2012, right? Damn, where are we?
Oh my god, I'm gonna freaking punch my screen.
Shea
Shea McClellan, what the hell were you thinking? See, that's the dumb GMs we had during this time after Lovey Smith was let
Who
go.
was that guy? I don't even remember that guy playing. Damn, Dallas
He
don't
was a
even have a
nobody.
first round pick.
What you guys do with it?
I don't know.
Oh, it's right here. Morris Claiborne.
Oh, Claiborne. Damn, he was number 6 out of all the people we could have picked.
He didn't live up to his potential.
Nope, he did. His first few years, I was like, all right, remember 24 might live up. And then after that, he just fell through the freaking window.
Remember this?
Brandon Whedon, this guy.
30
Remember,
year old
was
quarterback.
it Brady Quinn, Brandon Whedon, the stupid guy that always got in trouble? The other guy from
Oh,
A&M.
Pryor.
No, no. The guy that would do this. Johnny Football. Johnny
Oh
Manziel.
yeah,
Yep. Yep. Damn, Cleveland drafted all those three guys. Oh my god. And they drafted them what? Pretty much 4 years from each other or something like that? 4 to 5?
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like these GMs, you were talking about being a GM earlier. Like that's their mistake. They go
They
with a
draft the
flashy
same
name
people every time. Man,
instead
Dontelli
of
Cole, that dude was awesome.
yeah. But that dude kind of fell out of off of the planet, the face of the earth. No, like he was in Kansas City. Like he was supposed to be that what Chris Jones is today. He was
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be that dominant defensive tackle, which never happened. And then they got Chris Jones later, and this guy just kind of was catching touchdowns in the goal line. I don't know if you remember that one Sunday
Yeah.
night game.
He he pulled up.
Yep,
Bruce
exactly.
Irvin's good though. He definitely remember when they drafted Bruce Irvin, people were like, "What? Why him?" Hey, that dude's still playing and still making plays.
Yep. But I
Dre
think,
Kirkpatrick, remember that dude? Oh my god.
yeah. But Bruce Irvin, going back to him, I think his problem was that he just jumped from team to team. I think that hurts a player, like not having that consistency with one team, because you have to adjust to like a new culture, just new coaching, adjust
Melvin
to a new
Ingram.
playing surface. Like there's just a lot of things that
Yeah.
are
Brandon
different
Whedon.
factors.
I can't get over the Brandon. I mean, that guy. Remember at that time he was the oldest quarterback coming out in the draft ever. And he just looked weird. Oklahoma State, right?
Yep.
Brandon Whedon.
So that's it. That's the Hall of Fame class. What do you think about it?
Man, I'm just excited, man, because we get to see them get enshrined. We get to see them be in football god heaven forever. You know, like they're gonna be remembered forever in highlights, and just hats off to them and their star-studded careers. And it's so cool to see. You know, it's like it's inspirational, right? Like you always like grow up and like, man, I want to do something that's just like that's so unbelievable to my family, and like just do something great for them, and those people live up to those standards, so it's
Yeah.
awesome to see.
No, it's cool. It's oh, I always enjoy watching the Hall of Fame festivities because you just see all the emotion, right? All the
Right.
hard work that went into reaching that. And then like in this year, it's super special because we have like two Bears going into the Hall of Fame. I think that's fun to see your own players that you grew up watching and rooting for,
Right.
kind of reaching that pinnacle. But yeah, it's you think we'll see DeMarcus Ware sing the national anthem this year?
No, wasn't the best. It wasn't his
Yeah.
best highlight, but I'll give it to him. At least he tried. Like, I mean, at least he did it. You know what I mean? Like that'd be hard to do. It's better
Yeah.
than that girl that did the all-star baseball game. And
I know that
and you
girl.
know what? That poor girl. Did you see that
She was drunk.
yeah, she went into a rehab like 2 3 days later because she was like, I need to accept what I am. I'm an alcoholic and like I need help. I want to apologize to to the baseball and all the people, the fans, whatever. She was like, so I'm gonna go get help to make sure it never happens again. I mean, the first thing about getting the help you need is self-awareness, right? Like you got to admit what you are. So hats off to her that she was like, you know what, she owned up to it, went to a rehab, and hopefully everything comes out better after, for her.
Yep. Hopefully for her
Yeah,
sake. I mean,
pretty crazy.
she's a singer, right? Professional singer.
Yeah,
She's
like
a
dude, and she's nominated, like a four-time nominated Grammy singer and writer. And I'm like, can you imagine how talented she really is if she wasn't like drunk?
yeah.
Apparently, she's super talented. But yeah, well, hopefully she makes a good comeback because we always talked about that. Chris Carter and things like that, a great comeback story. Like good for her. Hopefully she gets that. I think her name was Ingrid Andros or something like that. But or something like that.
I didn't
Oh,
see it live, but I heard all the commotion about it the
oh
next day.
man, it was intense. But Danny, oh my God, football tomorrow, sir. And then now from like until February, like I said, so we'll have breaking news and hopefully not too many injuries throughout preseason. I don't want to see that. And then we'll break down each week at this point. And then I think it'd be great to like the week of first week is we'll talk about like we'll do like bold predictions like how ESPN does and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
it's gonna be so fun going forward because now we're gonna have everything and anything and everybody to talk about. So super stoked.
I think
Man,
it'd be cool, and on that point, I think you and I both did like our own projections, like when we first started this podcast. Remember?
right.
And so it'd be cool to see, like, do we still
Like a
agree with
review.
those?
Yeah, like a review.
Yeah,
Like we should do that for sure.
because that was before free agency. That was before everything. So
Right.
now things have changed, right? So yeah, let's recap that and see where we stand, and then if we agree or don't. Because I had the
Right.
Dolphins winning, and then I had the
Yeah, you went
Dolphins winning, and then
in the Jets right after. You're like, oh yeah, the Jets for sure gonna win. And I was like, all right. Well, I didn't know they were in a different division, but well, sounds
yeah,
good to me.
I was all drugged up, man. I was
Yeah.
drugged up.
Oh yeah, that was your allergy day.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll call Ingrid. You guys are gonna go. I won't tell Sam though. I promise. But how's she doing? Is her doctor stuff doing all right?
Yep. She's in it. She's in the thick of things and a little stressed out, but she's doing well.
That's good for her, man. I mean, one of us has to be cool. You know, why not Sam?
Yep.
You know what, dude? I was thinking. I don't know if I told you this offline or like if we would have like joined the EP police department like when you wanted to, like right when we graduated high school, and if we would have pushed each other's done it, we would have been pretty much almost retired at this point.
Yeah. Would have been almost 20 years. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
like we would have been like looking at a pension, like, oh, buddy.
Yeah. What do we could do now?
Yeah, I would be traveling and doing the podcast with you. That's what I would be doing. I probably would have been able to have kids too.
Oh, yeah. Girls would have thrown themselves at you.
Yeah.
Talk.
Oh my god. Oh, put the
Two baby mamas.
handcuffs on me, officer.
This
But
this show's will be becoming X-rated here shortly.
this is so cool, man. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, football's back. 24 hours from now, we're going to be seeing our first game of the year. Preseason game 1, Hall of Fame game. Houston Texans versus the Chicago Dub Bears. It's going to be amazing.
It is indeed.
Oh, man. I'm sure we'll be texting and chiming in, me, you, and Gabe. And Gabe, can't wait to talk more, sir. Danny, it's been amazing as usual. We can't wait for next week and see what more news and things that we have to come.
Can't wait till next week. Can't wait till tomorrow. It's gonna be fun, and it ain't gonna stop from here. I mean, the year's gonna fly by. You'll watch.
Oh, I know. That's the sad part. Like it's gonna just zoom right by.
Yep.
Holidays are gonna start. Oh my god.
I'll be there Thanksgiving.
Oh, you're gonna
We'll
come down
catch up.
Thanksgiving? Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to go this time. Like I did that one year where I went to like 4 houses and Jason, my cousin, I was like, bro, how are you still like how are you gonna eat at all these places? I'm like, well, I have to. I can't be rude. I'll just restroom break everywhere I go almost.
Yeah. Make some
But,
space.
yeah, dude, I went to like 4 to 5 houses that year. I went to your mom's house. I was like, dude, I
Dang.
was like
Oh, pace yourself.
when I got home, I was like, And then, those restroom breaks, I was walking out like Richard Sherman.
Oh man,
We'll
that's
never get we'll never
that's a
get over
priceless
it.
face.
I
Yep.
know we'll never get over it. Gabe, heck yeah. Yeah, it'd be fun to hang out, man. But for sure, Danny, Gabe, everyone that's watched, listened, shared, like, follow, all that good stuff. Please keep us going up, and hopefully we get more followers and likes and shares and all that good stuff.
Can't wait
Danny,
till next week, Jay. We'll talk soon.
yes,
And again, for anyone who's tuning in now or tunes in later, please, give us a like, subscribe to our channel as we're looking to grow our Facebook so that way we can stream again, live stream again, I should say. But yeah, it's been fun. Hopefully, we can connect with more people and grow this channel. That's the goal.
absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Sun City Leatherheads podcast out until next week, and then we'll have games to talk about and so much stuff to go with our episode. It's been fun and amazing. Y'all stay great.
See y'all next week.